George Sheriff, the manager for cloud and integration. Today I'm going to be taking you through Isotron's IoT architecture in the cloud. Our architecture is both serverless and cloud first, focusing on an AWS implementation. We did this to create a versatile environment that focuses on security, reliability, redundancy, and cost effectiveness. Yes, I listed cost effectiveness last, but it wasn't the last consideration. It was actually one of the first. We identified that in IoT environments, your load typically is very peak-based. You'll have large utilization by your user audience through certain parts of the day. And the rest of the time, it's either observing or at idle state, which has very little data transfer. If you have to provision on-prem systems to provide these capabilities, you have to provision for the peak, which often becomes very expensive in terms of the infrastructure you have to lay out to deliver those systems. Hence, we focused on a serverless architecture to build a cost-effective solution that scales as we need it to. We also did so we could focus on microservices. Microservices allow us to build very specific components. So you'd ask the question, why build all these unique specific components? It's to provide us with flexibility. When we want to reach out to a customer, we want to deliver value. And we can deliver value in different ways. Yes, the technology provides value. But we also know that acting on the market is critical. And as a customer, you have your own internal interfaces that need to be addressed. By us building these microservices, it allows us to very quickly update our systems to link into yours. We know that turnkey doesn't always work, and that's why we focused on these artifacts, so that we can integrate into your system's needs. We built our system to traverse the entire cyber-physical landscape, all the way from the user on their device, application, or through the API to an end device. That end device could open a gate, measure something, take a record of something, capture some data. It can do a lot. That's why we built it to be versatile. So we can build upon this infrastructure and this methodology. So let's start off at the user. How does our user engage with their devices? Through standard REST APIs. Each microservice has its corresponding API endpoint. These are standard HTTPS or WSS, Secure WebSocket APIs. This allows our users to engage in a very intuitive way from a development perspective. Your in-house development teams may want to integrate with our cloud stack to drive IoT in your environment from within your own UI. Or you may just want observability of what's taking place, and we can enable that through MQTTS or through webhooks, depending on which side of the stack you're on, whether that's the user end or the device end. This allows us to create really flexible systems, because we understand that your environment is constantly growing and changing, and we want to provide the versatility that needs to accompany that, not to lock you in, but rather to help you grow. Our systems also ship with an IDP. And no, it's not mandatory. As you can see, it's on its own path, which means that if you have your internal identity manager, we can hot swap that in to make it viable with your own environment. Your users can log on and access their tokens as they would usually, and our API endpoints would accept those tokens, should it be configured to do so, of course. We also have cloud storage and database space that auto-scales. We can activate archiving should you have retention periods and policies that need to be addressed. This is the kind of flexibility we provide. We don't want to give you a system that we cannot utilize. Rather, we want to give you a system that from day one, you can see the value it's going to deliver to you. So we talked about what a user can do to get to a device. Let's talk about how device events get to users. We can do so through many channels. Some of those channels are push notifications, WebSockets, Telegram, SMS, and email. But what is the cool part, the interesting part, and the truly flexible part of having microservices? It's because all of these technologies are strung together. which allows us to reach a certain level of versatility typical monolithic systems can't. We can make hot updates, and we can analyze data as it moves through our services pipelines. We can provide rich analytics on this data, log this data, push it to application endpoints if need be, thus giving you a true observable end-to-end system. One of our major focuses when putting together our platform was security, as I've mentioned previously. That's why we ensure that all data in motion is encrypted, and some data in rest, depending on your needs. We understand that some interfaces still don't support more modern encryption, but what we enable is policy-based access. So if the data at rest isn't encrypted, it is still isolated, meaning that only validated users who have the permission to access that environment can do so. All data in transit is encrypted. This is a standard policy within our organization. SSL certificates are used on all of our endpoints, and for each device, a unique public and private key is issued. Each identity is unique. We take security seriously, and we want to ensure that a breach never takes place. And you will see this in the technologies we've implemented. You will see that we go a step further to ensure that our environment is secure, robust, scalable, and can provide value to your organization. Thank you.